university, and they came on and said, look, we want to, I don't know, they want a quote for 30 iPads.
Hi, hello everybody. Those of you watching on the website, Google Plus or YouTube, welcome to Exeter Linux User Group. My name is Rick Tinnis, and I'm here today with a few of the other members of the group, and we're going to do a follow-up presentation to our C programming tutorial that we did before, and you can find details of that and the presentation slides in the projects section or previous events, past events section of our website. The slides for this will be made available later on as well. Well, in fact, you can get access to them now because I've updated the same tutorial as before as this one, we are available on IRC, so if you do want to chat to us, you can do that via IRC on Freenode, irc.freenode.net, hashtag DCLUG is where you'll find us there. You can also post questions and comments via our Google Plus page. Unfortunately, I've not been able to enable the Q&A app in the Hangout today, but I have improved a few things, and so this will also be recorded to YouTube as a live broadcast, so you can watch it later and share it with other people should you wish. So in a few minutes time, I'm going to share the presentation into this window, so I won't be just sit here talking to you, but you will be able to hear me talk, and you'll be able to see me go through the presentation slides. But you can hear a little bit of background talking going on here. That's the other people who are live arrived here in the meeting, just getting themselves set up and organised. So I do hope you enjoy this, and I'll start the presentation shortly.
They've got a nice thing, they've got a nice screen, haven't they? Don't you find with the hub you keep getting adverts saying buy this testicles? You've never seen that?
When you're on the main page bit, and you like see it as like an actual page which is filled with like a widget thing, which is just like tiles of flyers and text codes.
Yeah, same with the
just move the page to the end, then you'll just find underscore.
See,
if it seems like 24, you're like 12.
there was one Windows. You'll be saying nothing gets hurt.
My test game.
But then again, it had the same series. It had to use Linux. It's 48% more geeky than the other operating system.
Oh yeah, get your Arch on, get your Arch Linux on. Okay, right, so well, we've got a few people here tonight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us through swiftly through the C programming tutorial that we did before, because I'm working towards something here in this series. So what we're actually going to do tonight is we're going to look at some of the extra functions inside of the C language that we can use, and we're going to build a small program that just does a little bit of functionality that we can use. And then later on, in the next event, I'm going to go back and revisit the rapid application development tutorial using Quickly, and we're going to build an interface, a graphical user interface that we will be able to then connect later on to this C program that we've got, so that effectively you can see how we develop a piece of software in the background and then connect that to a user interface. Be able to do things through it. Now, I think you've seen this before, so I'm going to whip through it quite quickly and slide where we wrote a piece of code, so that you can actually, if you haven't got the code that you brought with you last time, I'll leave the slide up when once I've gone through the quick brief bit. Now I'll leave the slide up so that you can type that in and create a new file. We'll have a little bit of time for some Q&A then. And then we'll go on to the next stage. So I'll just get started and take us through the slide. Okay, so getting set up. What you'll do, if you haven't done that already, is if you're on a Debian or an Ubuntu-based system, then from a command line, if you just type these commands, apt-get and update and sudo apt-get upgrade, And then the tools that you're going to need for software development with C are the build essential tool chain. Now, if you've done that before and you have installed that, then if you type in a command prompt, so open up a terminal and type GCC space -V, the -V switch means verbose, which is my middle name. And if you type GCC -V, you should get something back. It should tell you that this is the GNU compiler, and you should get some information back from that. And you should expect to have make there as well. This link you can follow here as well, help.ubuntu community installing compilers. So that's the first step you'll need. Then what we did was, if you remember, we began with this Hello World program. So quickly going through this, at the top we've got a comment, tells us what the program is. We include the standard IO header file using #include, which tells us to load this extra code file that we're going to use because standard IO has got some other functional tools that we're going to want to have access to. In particular, the printf command is what we're going to need. And then we created this main function. In every C program that you create, this is the piece, this is where the program begins. So you might create a number of functional functions within the program itself, but this special one, main, is where the program will begin running. And in this example, it's going to print out Hello World. The next thing we did was we extended that to see whether we could get some input and output going. So here we included the strings header as well, which gave us some extra functions. It gave us the fgets and scanf functions. And what this did was it basically allowed us to enter our name, ask how old we were, and then it was able to print some of that information back. And we created a couple of variables to put some information into with that. So that was the next stage. Following from that, we went on to add a little bit more then. So again, a comment here, adding it up. And what we were doing is in this main function, we were saying, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to expect to have 3 variables, all integers. So an integer x, an integer y, and a total. And then we set values for x of 10 and y, set the value of 20. And then we did a calculation with total, said x plus y, put the answer into total, and then print out the total. And the total equals...
Wait, user input.
And the total equals... Way! Yes, thank you. Well done. Okay, right. So where we got to then was we said, okay, using these tools in those 3 slides that I showed you there, basically were all the clues that you needed to be able to write a simple calculator program that will accept 2 numbers. We wanted it to multiply them and print the result. And all of the functionality to be able to enter those numbers was there for that exercise. Now, so let me ask a question just around the room. Do you guys have your calculator.o program or whatever you called it from last time?
No.
Do you have to source code for that? You're just looking for it.
It's on the other one.
It's called Adder. That's what it's called. Adder. Look at Adder.
Adder.
Well, that was one kind of slightly. That was one idea, but that's one to input.
No, Dad, mine was on the other one. I have 2.
You typed it. Oh, there's input add and there's adders, which is adders.
The other one is then.
So I'm just gonna bring up the IRC just to check and see if there are any questions there.
That's the
one we just had, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the page where the comments are likely to be. If anybody's got any questions. Where's the IRC channel again? Yeah, a video. It is in DC. It is irc.freenode.net. And the channel is, pretty sure it's #DCGlog. Let me just have a quick look. course, I hid away the panel on the left-hand side so that I have more room on the screen and now can't get access to the channel list. No, gosh. Okay, well, if you're watching a video, pretty sure he's found it. Right, well done, great, it's DCG lug. Let me put that in here as well. Thank you, Lee, appreciate that. Thank you very much. There it is, that's it on Google for you guys as well. Now you can see what's going on. Yes. Hi. Right, okay, so let's have a look at the next slide then, rather than sitting that there, see where we got to. Okay, right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about in a moment is these couple of links here. So this was reference material. This is available on the slide. You can get access to it on the website, but you may well, you guys that are in the room right now or watching this, you probably want to go to this link, fresh2refresh.com, C programming, C language history. I wonder whether I can copy that link. Might be able to. And I'm going to post that here in IRC. I'm going to try. A moment. Do you know, this is actually quite tricky. Trying to set stuff up here and coordinate the things that people might need while they're out there watching.
That is C language.
Oh, okay, all right then. There's the link there. So, and the reason why I post this here is because that is a big archive of all kinds of functional stuff. And we're using some of those things when we go to the next slide to deal with command line arguments, which is what I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I'm just stalling briefly for a moment to see where people get to with code. Did you find any code to begin working with? Your old code that you had from last time? Have you got it, Christopher?
Yeah.
Did you have any code from last time? Oh, okay, right. You've got the slides up, okay. And you're working on a new kernel module, are you, Mark?
Oh, I'm actually looking at your website you mentioned.
Ah, right.
It's
Okay.
quite. It's they said the first big land is history. Well, fairly good history.
Yes, it is. That's right. But on the left-hand side, you can see there's a whole
Basically got a
navigation
whole
there.
set of, most of what you probably expect to find in here.
You should show it. A video saying I should show it on air. Didn't pass it to him last time. Is there some zip I can download? Hang on. You can get it here. You can get it there.
I tried to how to see.
Yes, for people that don't have this, I'm going to put the link in here. But if you go to extra, in fact, I'll get the actual event page up and I'll post it in. I'll post a link to it here in. It's at exeter.lug.org.uk and it's under past events. And it's the one below building your own kernel, because last time we did the hang on a moment, I'm just struggling to copy and paste here. Last time we did this, oh come on, it might be time for a new laptop. This one's starting to struggle. It's being worked rather hard. Search. find you a link to the direct page, intro to C programming. Here it is. Right. I'm going to put this into IRC now. There it is. And I'm going to put it into Google. So you can go there. This page that I've just posted takes you to the last event, and in there are the links to these slides. And it's publicly shared, so you should just be able to go and load this in Google Drive, and you've got access to the slides that I'm looking at right now. And you'll be able to, you can copy and paste the code from there if you want. Let me back up the slides. So oh gosh. So we're going to need something like this with some of the other bits and pieces. And I have got some code that I can take us to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this next bit of code up on the screen. So command line arguments, right? Let me talk about this a little bit. So when we first began, right, I asked you to put sudo apt-get update, sudo apt-get install in a terminal, and the terminal is a command prompt, and that's where you can type all kinds of various different commands. And the next thing I asked you to type was gcc with a space and then -v. Now that -v is what's called a command line argument. Well, in fact, the GCC and the -v are both command line arguments. Anything that you type at the command line is a command line argument. And there's, in that instance, the command line argument -v is a switch that tells GCC, the GCC program, how it should behave. So if you just type GCC on its own and enter and press enter, it'll probably throw back an error or just tell you a tiny little bit about itself. But when we said -v, we were asking it to be verbose, tell us more detail. And every command that you can type at the command line has a whole set of these switches. Probably one of the most useful ones is -h or --help. So the command line will accept as usually minus and a single letter, -h, -v, -l, and they will be what you call command line switches, which are shortcuts for the extensive version. So if I was to type -v, I could do the same thing by typing -verbose or -help. That can be useful for you remember what the command line, what arguments you could pass. Now, in this instance, what we want to be able to do, what we did in our first C program, was we made the program put a prompt up and say, enter your first number or enter how old you are. And then it read, using scanf, it read what we typed in into a variable. And then we did the same thing for the second number, and then we added them up and away we went. In this instance, we want to be able to shortcut that. What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to type calculate. If you type into our program calculate, we want to say calculate times 7. And so those command line arguments would be calculate would be the first command line argument, 2 would be the second, the times symbol would be the third, and 7 would be the fourth. So we want a way in our program to be able to capture those command line arguments so that we can use them like variables, like we did before previously. Now, what this piece of code does here is this will basically take however many command line arguments that you type in, it'll count through them, it'll spit back that the first one is the command you called. So if you called it calculate, it'd say the executable name is calculate, and then what it'll do is it'll perform a loop, and it'll loop round and print all the other arguments out. And what I think would be a really useful exercise is to see whether you can type this in to your terminal, compile it, and get it running. And then what we'll be able to do is then we'll be able to modify it, or you will be able to start thinking about modifying it to say, okay, how can I make it capture these two numbers? How can I make it capture a divide symbol, a plus symbol, a minus symbol, or a times symbol, and then how can I get it to output an answer? So, anticipating that this might be a little bit more challenging, I haven't got any more slides. I put this one slide in here earlier on today, and I thought, you know, I think that'll probably do it. So I can answer questions. If you've got some questions, I can ask you a few things. Boy, you're going to sleep, Sam. You had a busy day, busy week.
Yeah, all busy all the time. Yeah. Another nice Peter day. You think they're professional, and that's, you know, they went over half hour of their schedule, their window, to get clients trying to connect to a server and weren't ready. So it was a bit of a panic on.
Oh gosh, yeah, right, bit of pressure.
Yeah. It's a simple job. It's 7 hours to do it in the end, they did it in about an hour. Could have done it in an hour and had 6 hours to spare because they didn't read the ticket properly. They didn't do what they're supposed to have done, and then they did it in a last minute rush.
Yeah. There's a video's debugging this code. I don't take any responsibility for that video. That's a cut and paste from fresh to refresh. In fact, I was kind of under some pressure today to get work done, so I didn't even try to compile this. It's kind of an assumption that it worked, but I figured that because I was only putting one slide up, then once we ran into some problems, then I could start fiddling around with it and see if we could identify what the problems were, both syntactical problems or indeed programmatical problems as the questions come in. So do feel free to go ahead and add those those escaped new line switches and hack about with the code as you see fit.
So it's free, like in C++, you've got classes and things. This is C. Is it free? Is this because you do it this way? You now got multiple modules and calling them with parameters to get results back. Is this how it was done pre the classes?
Yes, it is. That's right. Yeah. So basically, we began with like list-based procedural code was the kind of the first thing.
Little bits and compiled command blocks like this. It returns something, almost like DLLs, I suppose. Isn't it?
Yes, exactly. That's right. I mean,
then we moved on to classes to get C++. That's what the difference is.
Yeah. And I've deliberately kind of avoided functions at this stage because I mean, it's a really good question actually, Sam, because I was deliberating with whether I should move from this to functions and allow the program to carry the parameters in and then call some functions and then return values.
Yeah.
But because I sort of thought to myself, well, because we've got some younger audience who just very often want to just get something up and running, I thought, well, let's get something working quickly, and then next time we can use quickly the rapid application development to create a GUI wrapper around it, and then maybe from there we could get more functional. To answer your question, yes, C++ is an object-orientated language, and C is not object-orientated. And so you would use structures, data structures in C, and you would use functions inside of C, and then you might create half a dozen or so functions, and then from your main function, or the main routine, the main function, you would call the other functions backwards and forwards. Whereas in C++, obviously you define classes and set up methods and operators, and the language is very much more extensive than that.
So probably this could be with today's antivirus, and that if it picked up one of the objects it didn't like and took one away, stuck it in quarantine or something, then that could impact the actual running of the program, couldn't it? Which I suppose if you had a fully compiled self-contained in one object, it's less likely to happen.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. I mean, I think, well, that's that kind of, when you get these missing DLLs, the missing dynamic link libraries, and I mean, antivirus is an example of that, but also when you have dynamically linked libraries, what you can't always guarantee is that you'll have all the dependencies at the other end. Now, the Windows operating system doesn't have as strong a dependency satisfying packaging system as, say, Red Hat or Debian do. So for example, if you wanted to install, say you wanted to install Apache, the Apache web server onto Debian, when you told it to install Apache, it knows the Apache installation package, the .deb file, has a list of all of the dependencies, all the dynamic libraries that Apache needs, and it will go through the system, see if they're there, and if they're not, it'll install them all and load them all. Whereas you can install, download an executable, for example, for Windows, you could install it there, and it wouldn't, and maybe it won't run because the DLL isn't there, the dynamic library is missing. And the way to solve that problem, of course, is to statically link. So you can statically link your objects, which means that don't rely on the libraries being there, actually add them all in. And what we're doing here at the top of this piece of code, where you can see #include SDDIO, in one context, you could argue that what we're doing there is statically linking the standard IO functions. And what is actually going to happen at pre-compile time, and you can see this if you pass the compiler switch, the compiler will go and get from the standard C library set the SDDIO header file, and it will load it, and then it will take your code and it will load that into a text file, and then it will run that through the compiler. And what you end up with is a load of code compiled into your program that you never even saw. You didn't even see it there.
There is actually a slight plugin program, Rick.
There is. Go on.
Okay, the first $S should actually be $D.
The first dollar.
The first, that one there should be $D.
Yeah, because it's a decimal.
Yeah.
Decimal integer.
Or $X will actually work.
That was Mark. Thank you, Mark. Mark has debugged that. Mark has spotted the deliberate mistake. You have to remember. So you have to remember the variable prefixes are fully interchangeable in this program.
Oh, that's a name. So no, that's what it is. A string.
All right, let me put some glasses on.
Let me use the euro.
All three is a string array.
That's how to get a euro.
Well, actually, technically, it's a way of pointed strings.
What about this one?
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. That's right. So on line 1, 2, 3, 4, that line 4 does need to be a %D. So count equals %D, because the argc value is an integer. So let me now that you've started to type that in a little bit, let me explain what that first line is doing, that int main, and then it's opening brackets, and what we're passing into the basically in the previous code you saw where we used the main function, we very often called it, to start with, we called it by just saying main, open bracket, close bracket. Later on, we called it with int main, so we're making some definition about how it was going to behave, but we were still calling it open brackets, close brackets. In this instance, what we're saying is the main function should expect to have some parameters or some variables passed into it. And the first variable it's going to pass is int argc. So argc is a special variable. It is the command line count. So what it says is that if we called our program
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Thank you, Trevor. Right. We'll call our program Bob. And so if we said Bob space Trevor space Mark space Rick space Sam space Christopher, and if I counted that correctly, then what we would see is that the argc value would hold the number 6. So it'd be so number 0 would be Bob, number 1 would be Trevor, number 2 would be Mark, and so on and so forth. So that is the command line count. How many are there on the command line? The second one, which is after the comma, so you've got int argc, comma, char star argv, open square bracket, close square bracket. So what's this doing? What this says is it says that now the second variable you should expect is characters. It's an alphanumeric. So it's basically, it can be any of the characters on the keyboard. And the argv tells us that these are going to be the actual values that are being passed. And when we've given it a square, an open square bracket, what that's saying is argv is an array. So that array can hold more than one value. So when we look at this here, what this tells us, it tells us that argc has got 6 entries in it, and that tells us that the number of entries in the argv array are 6. So when we then iterate through that in our loop, we basically say, start a loop, counting from 1, and whilst the counter is less than argc, increment the counter for every time you execute a printf argument and then output the value. So that's what the code is doing. So once you get to the point where you can compile this and run it, then you can do that very thing. You can call your command and type Bob, Trevor, Simon, Peter, Paul, or whatever. And what you should get back is a command count and a list of commands. I'm just going to have a quick look at Google and see who's saying this, who's saying what in here. Okay, nobody at the moment, that's good.
7:15.
8:15, is it? Look at that. It says configuring Windows Ubuntu installer.
70%.
Do you know,
I'm worrying how I'm going to turn this on to.
Yeah, you get a lot of that, don't you? So you can't turn your machine off. I'm installing updates. Hang on, well, I'm installing updates. And then you go, oh, come out, reboot. And then wait, I'm reinstalling updates.
And then it comes up saying, you need to back up your files.
Mine.
Back up all the updates.
Have you got, is that just a Windows machine, or have you got it dual booted, or have you got a virtual else?
I've got a virtual box of Windows XP.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Create a virtual box. For the first one.
Okay.
Application.
Windows XP. See, I liked Windows XP. I'd be quite happy to. Well, probably quite happy to use Windows 3.1 actually.
You'd have to pass it the argument.
Yeah, well, I've just got what it was like. That's why.
So you
Yeah, Dad. Is this one of the Windows XP?
yeah.
How good it crashed.
Norm, really.
It's good on Windows XP crash.
3.11.
Service pack 72.
Ooh. A video Florian is doing really well. He's got a nice bit of calculator code here. That here, in fact, tell you what, let's put this up. Let's put this up. Put this up in the Hangout, and we can have a look at it.
Oh, it's fine.
Hold on a minute. Should be able to put it up in the Hangout, I think. How can I do that? Oh no, foxed by the. I know what I'll do. Copy. I don't want the formatting, so I'll just get a nice little bit of Kate here. Where is that in there? Right. Hold on a minute. Right, come on. Okay, you got to tell me how to exit. Right, there we are. Let's put a new slide in here a moment. And get rid of this one. And we will put up in a moment a video solution.
Oh.
Oh boy. Oh, it's a bit blurred there, isn't it?
It's blurred.
All of it. Let me go back to the Hangout.
Right, that's it. I think I deep
Right, okay, hang on a minute. I've got a better idea.
The victim is the backwards.
Don't you just love technology? Right, I'm going to have to just go back and re-screen share this. But what I'll do is I'll drag it over here, Kate, and we can take a look at this solution. Here we are. Start the screen share. Right. Okay. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So is somebody showing off?
Nesting a bit after the main, the third line. So we're nesting it a bit. Tap it over this so you can make it easy to read. Yeah, line 3, and now we're tabbing it in a little. Just tabbing it in.
This one.
Line 3. What line above it?
I've broken it now.
Yeah, that. You bring that lot in, then really easy, can't you? Because we're in the function then. Yeah.
Sam?
It's a lot better.
There we are.
Just makes it easier to read, that's all.
Okay, let's have a look here. So,
Yeah, got 36 options.
who wants to have a pick at the first two lines inside of the function then? We got int, param1, param2, and total.
Saying that param1, param2, and total are all integers.
Spot on. And param1, param2, and total are variables, are they? They're containers. We're going to keep values in. And the second one,
That sign is a character.
yeah, is spot on. And so the next thing, so what does the next line do there? You got print F, scan F, and print F.
It's equally around, but it's the same type of parameter as the console.
Okay.
Other word processes are.
And then obviously it does the second for the second. So then it's going to ask here, the command line is going to ask, type the first parameter. The second it's going to type the second parameter. Then it's going to ask for the operator sign. It's going to read that in, and then it's going to do a switch based on the sign. And at the moment we've got the case where it says if the sign is a plus, then we're going to do this. We're going to do total equals param1 plus param2. What
We need a few more cases.
One else, what we do is default, let's say.
No, because with Switch, you can just do case.
Mm.
And you don't have to do
Then it's better to have a default, because if the case does nothing, the program just sits in a loop, and else it would drop out the case, I
You
suppose.
can put case as the default box.
That's a really good question, the video. Why does, so I take it that when you try to compile that without a space in front of the %C in scanf, it throws an error.
I find that's really irritating. Like,
Have you actually said it?
I write code and then it just decides to say that this space
What happens if you try it?
or this line after this word won't work.
Yeah, you find it by it first, which will eventually be a real file. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so just drop a break and that would be, so just break out that case, just stop and then jump out of it, jump out of that switch.
That's right. So,
I was thinking it should be an else, but I need to sort of break down.
well, no, we don't need an else. What we could do is we could just, all we need to do is basically take that same thing. So if we wanted to make this, if we wanted to say if it's a negative operator, then we could just take that whole thing, take that whole case statement. I'll get the formatting right here. So we just do the same thing again. What we do, switch and case allows us to basically say switch through these different functions based on the case of this sign. So in this instance here, if we were to say make that a minus and then change this to a minus, now we have a calculator program that can add and subtract.
Right, JavaScript. Let's see.
I'm sure on that %C.
Yeah, that does correct.
But yeah, well, a video was asking though, Mark. He was saying in the line where we've got scanf, we're having to put quote space %C close quote, and then and if I understand him correctly, it throws an error if you don't put the space there.
That's awesome.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that must be a.
No, and neither me or Mark are sure on that one.
It's to work with that with the
And something like this.
You can do modulus as well. Question. Power.
Yes, you could. Yeah, absolutely. Modulus and power, you could accept those as operators with this model, couldn't you? Now, at the moment, what this piece of code doesn't do, of course, is it doesn't allow us to call to make a call on the command line, let me, in fact, if I just do, what we want to do is, we would want something that kind of like, if this is my command line parameter, what we would want is something like this, calculator 27 divided by 3. Now when we type that and execute it, what we'd expect it to return is
9.
9 threes.
Yeah.
Okay.
27.
I think you're right.
27. It's only 5 inches.
So what we'd expect to get is that. Do you see how I deflected my inability to do mental arithmetic? That's because I was up at 5 o'clock this morning.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7.
Now 7 threes are 21, aren't they?
He said 7 instead of 9.
Oh my.
Oh, what's the one that's tired?
Of course, what we don't have is we don't have that. Now let me just have a look at this. You need quotes for the sine. Oh, okay. No, I'm not sure that we would need quotes for the sign actually, because what we're going to do is we're going to basically they're going to come in and characterize command arguments. What we're going to deal with is we have to deal with taking the numbers into values. So it's going to give us a little bit of we're going to have to do a little bit of data cleansing as we bring that in. Because this, like here, you're going to have the argv array is going to hold calculator, 27, / and 3 as separate elements to the array, but each and every one of them is a character.
If you're like a escape character, we had a string with space.
Ah, okay. Otherwise, okay, right. So it's saying the shell will do quite crazy stuff.
Yes, you do need to, if you execute a result prompt, you do need to do escape once the escape sequence to have my character so I can start.
Just real a string with a space in it, you can have
This is why we have PowerShell. It's all for
PowerShell.
Got it. Okay, fair enough, video.
anything this is useful for.
PowerShell.
Whoops, a daisy.
Anything this is useful for. 12 divided by 0. At least it tried to.
Okay, so let me put that code back up anyway, and we can look at that a little bit more. So I'll go back to this first piece of code that we're playing with here, and now we're going to take we'll take a break in about another 15 minutes for our run to the chip shop. Now Mark has got a special Wi-Fi, quantum Wi-Fi materializer. So if any of you do want chips from the chip shop, we can get them for you and we can teleport them to your location.
We've been,
because that's just how far in advance we are here at Exeter Linux User Group.
You must be within 2 meters.
You have
of
a 3D potato printer.
Well, in fact, actually, we could. I'm sure Gordon can 3D print them. We could just.
Well, interestingly, I think potato starch is one of the things you could 3D print with.
Yeah, probably could, couldn't we?
So you can make custom chips of whatever variety, in the shape of your own face.
Wow.
Might take a while, though, might it? Just
Wouldn't that be great? That we could go to the chip shop and then we could bring them here. We could just go. One quick.
Scan them in, eat them, then somebody else could then print them out at their house and eat the same chips that we.
We need
quality control. Yeah, this is acceptable.
What we need is a chips to SSH.py script.
Find the perfect chip, scan it, print out mini.
RSS really.
All right, everybody, let's have a look. And,
Really simple scanner. Okay, I must provide found you on the other side.
aha, right, here we go.
Oh, pretty colours.
Super shine. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the screen that I'm sharing. So I'm going to stop screen sharing this.
16, 17, 18,
Let's go
20.
screen share again. And this time, I'm going to try to work out which one we're looking at.
Oh, that's an interesting number. 4 divided numbers up to 20 equals 4.11.
There we are. Okay, so here we go. Now we've got an update to this. I couldn't do this without you, a video. A video is writing the slides for me now as we go and pasting them into IRC. Top job. Brilliant job. Excellent. Crowdsourcing, yeah, exactly. I was feeling very alone here before, thinking, gosh, I'm trying to present to the YouTube, and I'm trying to get the code up and deal with the slides and answer the questions here. And all of a sudden, the guys in DC, in Devon and Cornwall, GNU Linux user group on IRC are helping me out. And of course, my mate, a video from the Kubuntu development team. Everybody, when you ask about what distribution should you be using, it should be Kubuntu.
Does it know why there's a space for 1% C? Does it not come out the chest of why that is?
No, we don't. I'm waiting for Mark to.
I can't actually work that out. I wouldn't. I've not actually done it that way anyway. I've done it to start a slightly different way of just basically doing it directly from RV.
Ah, right. Okay.
I've also in my version actually put a couple of internal checking in it.
Oh, nice. Right. Okay. Do you are you able to share share that? Are you logged into DC Lug IRC?
I'm actually logged into it at all, unfortunately. I'm not sure if I'm IRC client on this machine either.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what I've done it slightly differently is I've done the print test within the code statement. Okay, so basically this is basically checking on RC, see if you've actually given it all the right number of arguments.
Yeah.
This is pretty much a standard way of doing it.
Yeah.
Of you basically print standard error and actually give it whatever is mode has.
Yeah. Okay.
It wants me to shut down again so I can update the rest.
Yeah, checking.
I say you won't get done before the end of the
We've
night.
got default on me.
No,
and the switch. So,
Okay,
so
you're right,
basically,
yeah.
it doesn't matter, because the thing is, the way the switch will work on there is that will basically, the way the switch will work as is it on there, is it will still print something if there's an operator which doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So what you'll get is results of basically it'll give you a result of possibly 0, possibly a random number, depending on exactly how the compiler treats uninitialized variables.
Let me get you a. Hang on a minute. I'll get you a paste bin. If you can you go to https://paste.kde.org, and because what you can do is if you paste that into the paste bin at kde.org, and then I can type in the URL, and I'll be able to get it up on the screen. So it's https //paste.kde.org.
Yeah.
Press enter, and that will give you, in the first instance, give you a window to paste all that code into.
Okay. I'm actually selecting all of it when it's it's quite a bit trying to
Control A. So that's select all.
it's only only a window actually.
When does the
I suppose what you could do is
No.
Cat file.
I'm actually going to open the terminal.
There should be a closing bracket in the case at the switch side at some point. You need a closing bracket at some point. Yeah, okay, we'll go with brackets. But I tend to do you do the nesting as you go, and then put the bits in it. Because that's like a nest, isn't it? The start and finish. Then you lose it off. When you go to compile it, you'll an error or you'll run everything too. If you nest stuff, it makes it easy to read. That's what I done with the IDE. It knows if it's a C file, then you've got to try and flag up keywords and that and change colours.
They might not like those.
Yeah, if you say it as .c, and save it as white, that's
Okay. And then what I'll do is
what type of file it is. Otherwise, it's just a text file.
now what I need from you is now you will have a URL when you've pasted it in there that's got some funny gibberish characters on the end, which I can type in here. If you tell me what they are.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
When you submit that, it'll give you a URL back, and then I'll be able to bring that up and share it into the window here, and we can take a look at this.
Okay, so paste to submit. Yeah. Oh yes, a little bit like it's a little bit like pick paste, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Papa Charlie, Sierra November, Papa 7, Romeo, Bravo, Oscar.
And voila! There we go. Look at that. And it's even going to fit on the screen. Right. One moment. So we got another nice solution here, and I'm going to share that with you guys now. Here we go. Okay, so I'm closest to the mic at the moment, so what I'll do is I'll start explaining a little bit what's going on here, and just shout and direct me as and when I get it wrong, Mark.
Yeah, the actual variable I is redundant in that. I can't take that out.
Oh, okay. So what we've done here, the first thing that we've done is lines 8, 9, and 10. Basically, that is just going to do some error checking. It's going to basically check that we've got four command line arguments, and if we haven't, then it's going to basically tell us that there's a wrong number of arguments passed, give us a usage error, and then it's going to also pass argv0, which is basically the command line that it was invoked with. This is a kind of a standard way of error reporting from a GNU switch. Then what we've got is now this is the clever bit that solves that problem about converting the character information to an integer. Lines 13 and 14 take the variables x and y, which you can see defined at line 6. Variables x and y are both integers, and what this does is it says convert the alpha, a2i, convert the alpha numeric character to an integer, and do that for the second command line argument and the third. So notice that what it's doing there is it's assuming that the third parameter passed on the command line will be the operator, on which indeed at line 16 it then does. It says, okay, switch using the value of argv, so using the third command line, And in the case of a plus, calculate it this way. Case of a minus, calculate.
A slight twist on that is the star bit actually says just take the first character of that argument.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, because otherwise it's interpreted as a string. So what he does,
And we don't want that, we just want the single.
I've done a shortcut to basically say treat it as a string, but just do a switch on first character of it.
Right, okay.
Doing issues, assuming it can be a string, is far more complicated.
Yes. Indeed, yeah, right, absolutely it is. Right, so that's a really good point to note there, is that asterisk in front of the argv is telling it to use just use the single character from whatever is entered there. So just use the first character, don't treat it as a string, treat it as a single character value. And then switch on that value based on whether it's a plus, a minus, an asterisk, or a divide. And then obviously there's a default case here which says if you don't match any of those operators, then let's post back an error to the user and explain to them where they've gone wrong. So this is a really elegant solution that's covered. Like
the fprintf is slightly different of in Linux you've actually got Unix type system, you've actually got multiple output streams. The fprintf basically the printf by default goes to what's called standard out. Whereas the fprintf is actually got an additional parameter for it, it's stderr, which is standard error.
Yeah.
So does it make it colourful?
No, it's not lolcat.
In theory, it could do with the actual interface actually copes with it. But it's also normally, because potentially if you're redirecting the output into a file, normally you'd only redirect standard out. And you wouldn't necessarily want, if you redirect it into a file, you're redirecting standard out, so you wouldn't actually see the error message. Whereas if you're redirecting standard out into a file, you will actually see the error message when this happens.
So the nice thing that we've got here is we've got a fancy window manager doing fancy things. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it. Okay, I'll go back a minute and a moment.
In the users directory, so you need to find where you are.
Thank you, Mark. Well spotted.
You're probably not too tidy. This is system admin style programming.
That one of
I actually think it's a very elegant solution. It's good.
I could probably tidy it up a bit and
Wiki.
Yeah, you have a username.
What way?
Oh, right. Fish and chip shop run then, guys.
Yeah, this is actually food.
You on anything? People want to stay here, they can do it.
All the broken ones aren't salting out. I want to see if that actually happens.
that's interesting. It actually highlights.
That's cool.
That's just handy.
Boy.
Yes, I'm not actually sure if the STD will be included or not. I just go on guessing I need it.
So are you guys going to hang on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay. I'll stay here because I'm okay for chips tonight, Trevor. Thanks very much. Okay. Make that slide a 2-column slide. All right then. see how good I am here with Google Docs, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
what's he done there? Of course he done.
Made a right mess of it.
GUI text it does actually do syntax horizontal on C as well, which is potentially useful.
Here we are. Where is it? This one. This one. That one there. Right. Now we're getting there. Okay. Let's try and take. Let's take that bit. And we'll put it in the first slide. Cool. My poor little PC is going mad here trying to do all this video. Oh, it doesn't like that, does it? Yeah. There's the first bit, and I'll paste the second bit in the video. The wonder of modern technology. This is amazing, isn't it? So we've got a video in IRC, now sharing the Google Doc with me. That's a shame. Share. Right, there we go. So put that out of the way. I'll change the title. Solution. There we go, and a video can change that. Whew, crikey, it's quite. It's coming together, all this online stuff. I think we've done about 3 of these.
Yeah.
On Hangout. This is the first time that I've actually done this, where this is now streamed live onto YouTube. It's streamed live out onto our website, and afterwards, when it's finished, it will be loaded up as a video file into the Exeter Linux User Group's video YouTube channel. So, of course, anybody wants to go and watch it, they can do afterwards as well. Whew. Oh, it's looking better already, a video.
Yeah. Change our font size as well, I think.
Yes, looking much better, isn't it? Yeah, how is it? It's great. So much. Not typing now. I've lost control of my keyboard for some reason. I don't quite know why. Too much. think the key to this really is like anything else is, and
More practice.
yeah, I think you can read books and read information and so on, but there is no substitute for doing.
No,
Just you've got to take.
Especially you need to get the feel of how much text will actually fit in the box.
Yeah. I was talking in the context of programming there. Whatever the language might be, the programming is it's puzzling really. It's you can treat it a little bit like trying to work with a puzzle, and of course, gosh, nowadays with Google and so on and so forth, it makes things so much easier because you could just say, how do I convert a character to an integer in C, and you'll get examples on Stack Overflow of how to do it, and so on and so forth.
I was trying to help some lads do work out a Python program last Saturday for PyCharm.
Right.
And basically, my approach was he was having problems with a few commands. So okay, get that doc, look up in the reference manual of how you actually use the command.
Yeah.
As we're finding, he had to actually use. Python has two versions of input. He has an input and something which is raw underscore input. And it turns out for most things you actually need to use raw underscore input version.
Right.
He was trying to use the input version. The input version will basically, if you give it an alphanumeric, it will treat that as though it's a Python variable.
Ah, got you. Okay.
So basically, if you say, if using input you type in A, it will go and look and see if it's a variable called A, and try and take value of that. But once it gives you an error. Whereas raw input basically simply takes the A as being a string.
Yeah.
And we also had to puzzle out using the if statement in Python, because the if statement, Python is not sure if where it relies on the correct levels of indentation in places.
Oh, absolutely, it does. Yeah.
So that's the thing. The parameters after your if have to be indented. They have to be. It doesn't actually matter how much you indent them, but that entire code block needs to be indented exactly the same amount.
Yeah.
And sometimes what people don't realise is if you mix up tabs and spaces for indenting, you can get something that looks the same but isn't.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's quite right. No, I do. When I first started writing stuff in Python, I really didn't like it, and that made me feel quite uncomfortable. That kind of stuff. The fact that I didn't have any brackets around things and stuff like that just felt really weird.
But it has to be
got
exactly the same indentation for each code block. And
yeah, that's right.
if you're writing anything particularly nested, you have to watch exactly what you're doing. Because you could end up with some stuff if you mess up the indentation, then it's very strange.
Yes, that's
things
right.
happening as far as the language is concerned.
But as I've developed, as I've used it more, because I've been working on that little music player app thing, and as I've worked on that more and done more with Python, I've really begun to like it. I do quite like the language.
Tom likes it a lot, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It allows you to do things quickly.
Yeah,
that's really not a really nice thing about it. And the results that you can get are quite good. I mean, as you see, when we next month when we'll do some Quickly stuff. That Quickly is amazing. Quickly create Ubuntu application calculator. Bosh.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you've got all of these pieces of code and everything you need to get started, and it does a lot of the work for you.
One module we're using at school, where we had to actually try to actually download it when we were to Southwest Grid. It's a module called Pygame.
Oh right, okay.
Yes, it's got a word game in it. We've now gotten rid of Southwest Grid, so we do not have that sort of problem anymore. We actually have control of what we filter and don't filter.
Ah, right, okay.
Whenever it's got the word game in it, it filters it no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so you couldn't see, so you were unable to download Pygame as a result of that?
Yes.
Oh, that's
stuff like related to games, like puzzle script and stuff you can't get on.
We had to.
Lots of puzzle.
The thing is, we tried to get Southwest Grid to unblock puzzle script to make messed it up. That should actually now be working for us.
So what have you done? Have you implemented your own filtering?
Yes, we put a smooth wall box in and a 50 meg connection directly from Virgin Media, which on the same button as Fiber's Southwest Grid's connection was, but it's faster.
Smooth Wall uses Dan's Guardian.
Yeah, it's basically smooth wall appliance, which is basically a basically customised Linux box. The one we've got basically has 8 network ports on the front of it and an LCD screen for.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, Smooth Wall gone into the business of doing like complete hardware software solutions.
Yeah, they did basically complete.
Because I remember that back in the day when Smooth Wall was just the software, you know, which was still a good piece of equipment then. Because we used it for a while in my old company, and then we moved to IPCOM. We were using that for quite a while. And this is coming together now. I'm just going to pop this little chat window down out of the way, and folks in the folks on the who are watching, viewers that are watching now, this solution here that a video is just tidying up into 2 columns here. You can go to the slides, which are available on the website. If you go to our Google Plus page, you can visit our website exeter.lug.org.uk, and in the past events, you'll be able to find a link to these slides, and you can go and get this code and compile it, and it'll give you a little command line calculator that you'll be able to use. And what I'd like you to do is to hang on to this, because at our next Exeter Linux user group meeting, we're going to begin developing a calculator application, just a small graphical calculator application that just looks like a little desktop calculator with some buttons, and of course this will allow you to type parameters in, capture them in a little calculator window, and then we'll create some functions that can call this piece of C code, pass it those parameters, and then gather back the response and put it in the window. So you'll be able to see how we can use GTK, the quickly GTK widgets and desktop toolkit, and the Python programming language to create this little graphical user tool that can make calls to this calculator program and then get the value returned. That'll be the object of the exercise. We'll give it a go. No, I'm not going to, in this instance of video, I'm not planning to use Qt. Qt or Qt, it is that we actually call it Qt. But what we will do is we'll be using Quickly, which uses PyGTK rather than Qt. But well, the reason why I'm using GTK video is because we're going to use the Quickly framework, which allows us to rapidly create an Ubuntu application. Just quickly create Ubuntu application calculator, and it'll build all the files and give us a window, and then we can visually edit that with Glade and so on and so forth. Of course, we could do we could look to return to that, and perhaps we may well even do that in a future event where we could use Qt Designer and a K Developer or something like that. And well, because so why not PyQt? Well, because Quickly, the Ubuntu Quickly Rapid Application Framework uses PyGTK and Glade, etc., as part of that framework, and I want to exploit the Quickly command line tools for generating the code, because it basically creates all the files and everything else. Oh, right. Well, that would be really good. If you were able to help with a Qt course, then we definitely ought to talk about that some more on IRC. or well, we certainly should chat about it together. I'd love a cup of coffee, please. That'd be wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be really good. I mean, because to be able to revisit that, in fact, that would be really good to do something like maybe use something like. I keep wanting to call it K develop because, of course, that's my preferred integrated development environment. But when you're developing Qt applications, is it Qt develop or something like that? I think it is Qt develop, which does the same thing and gives you a combination of Qt designer and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's probably a bit of a delay on my laptop and certainly a bit of delay in the round trip between you typing your question in Freenode and me firing it back via Google's live YouTube feed. Yes, it is. Yeah, this screen here, this is being broadcast live onto our website, exeter.lug.org.uk, and it's also going out live onto our Google Plus Exeter Linux User Group account. And then when we finish, when I stop the broadcast, it will load this to our Exeter Linux User Group's YouTube account, and then it will be available for people to watch on the page whenever. Yeah, well, that would be great. I think I would very much like to do that with your video and do something on Qt and KDevelop. We could probably do something like that in the autumn time. One of the things I'm cheekily thinking of doing at the moment, and if I can get some and just a little bit of help to help me with it, I was thinking that what I might look at doing next month in May is actually a Kubuntu 15.04 Plasma 5 launch, like, release parties, sort of like an install day here at the Exeter Lug, where we could maybe do it, and maybe you could even do an install of Kubuntu 15.04 live here and show off some of the Plasma stuff, and maybe I could make a few discs and things like that. And I'm very tempted to do that and actually push the quickly rapid application development back a month, just because, of course, we'll be releasing Kubuntu 15.04 on 23rd of this month, won't we? So about 2 weeks after that, we'll have all the release ready, and we could do something here. I think I may well be tempted to do that if I can. I just need to get this event out of the way first, and then I'll work on the next one. But there is scope to do that. In fact, let me ask you guys and see what you think, because I was just mentioning this here. So on the 23rd of this month, the new release of Kubuntu 15.04 comes out, which has got all the brand new Plasma 5 it's got all the brand new Plasma 5 stuff and all the new KDE frameworks and everything else. It really is a beautiful looking Linux distribution. And a video here in IRC that I'm talking to now. He's one of the developers of Kubuntu and a community member, as am I. And so we could maybe even get some Kubuntu install discs and some little bits and pieces, and we could do an install of it and bring some USB sticks that people could try copies of it live on your laptops and stuff like that, if you are interested.
I just try and watch it an album live.
I'm saying that as a no then, Ben. Yeah, so that sounds pretty good. No, not at all a video. No, I'm not a teacher. I've got a minus VVV switch though, so you can call me, Rick Timmis minus VVV, and I just incessantly talk about anything for as long as you like.
Potatoes.
You say potatoes, I say potatoes.
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 Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. last year.
Try that.
Last year.
No, you can do that.
No, but I do spend during the day at work where I work. I kind of like I sit in this funny area really between sort of systems administrator, software, bit of developer, hacker, but more than anything else, I'm really an implementer. So what I tend to be good at doing is solving all of the implementation problems and wrapping a piece of software around a business or an enterprise environment, and enveloping, that's the word I like to use, enveloping or assimilating or absorbing the business processes into a nice flow, a nice software flow. And if you Google me, if you Google Rick Timmis and look, or Rick Timmis Linux desktop, Rick Timmis Supertramp, Rick Timmis European Parliament, you'll see that I've done lots of stuff over the years to do with free software and Linux on the desktop and stuff like that. And that's where I really get passionate, really, is spending time with people, showing them, software and setting it up for their use case and making it get rid of all the mundane kind of chopping around that people do very often with different bits of software, and connect it all together and make it flow. And like one of my chosen tools for doing that is a product called Suite CRM, we use quite a lot. Yeah, it'll come back on, yeah. And so yeah, that's what I do for my day job, video. Okay, so well, what I'm going to do now with the for those of you watching the broadcast, I'm going to stop this now. I haven't got any more slides to show, but you can go to exeter.lug.org.uk. That's the Exeter Linux User Group's website, and you can see our events for the future. Do come and join us on Google+, which is our platform, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find out what we're doing there, and of course, now that we've got the Hangouts on air working, this is the first one we've done, but we will do more of these and make them available on the website pages. There's embedded videos that you can play, but also you can see them on our YouTube channel. So thanks very much to those of you that have come and joined us live and watched this, and hope you've enjoyed it and hope you've had some success with your C programming. And for those of you who are watching at some point in the future the recorded version, then do drop by our website and please do comment on the video and let us know what you think. Most importantly, comment on things and let us know some of the subjects and topics that you'd like us to cover in these Linux User Group meetings, and that will give us some content going forward in the future. So I will just stop the presentation now, so it comes back to me. Take the glasses off. I'm staring at the screen, but yeah, so thank you very much for those of you that have come and joined us this evening. I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee and spend some time with the rest of the guys here and pinch some of Trevor's chips, but hope to see you all again. Thank you very much for taking the time to drop by. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Now the bad news.